Alright, this is a weird video. I'm actually in my room, sitting on my bed. I'm actually sitting where my pillows are. Um, yeah. As you can see. Freaking my bed, you know, and bookshelf, you know, handheld games. Whatever. This is my sleeping quarters, I guess you could say. That's bright. my my lamp is bright. I mean, I kind of like this low lit. It's kind of reminds me of like a horror game where you walk in a room and only one corner is really well lit, and the rest of the room's kind of like cast in shadow. It's not like pitch dark, but it's not as bright. Anyway, I haven't even gotten to the topic of this video yet, and I probably should have by now. Then again, you can already read the title. These are the top 10. These are my favorite book series that I own. Not my favorite book series in general. I mean, this is basically my top 10. This is like basically my top 10 because I own just about every book I like. But there are some exceptions. There are some books I really love that I just don't own. But yeah, these are the top 10 books series I love the most that I own. It's the asterisk. This isn't my definitive list. Some of these are definitive locks. And we're going to start off with number 10. And I went through a lot of debating for number 10. I ended up going with the Michael Vey series. The Prisoner of Cell 25. The last book recently just came out and I bought it and it's somewhere in my room. Oh God! Hope that didn't scare you as much as it scared me. But yeah, I recently got the Fall of Hades, which is book 6, and then as you can see, I still haven't taken the tag off of it. The Final Spark, book 7. Surprisingly, I got these almost back to back. I got this at Barnes and Nobles, and then like a couple days later, I went to Walmart and I saw this, and I was like, well, that's convenient. But yeah, Michael Vey, The Prisoner of Cell 25 is the first book, and as I just said, there's 7 books in the series total. I do own them all except the second one. Actually, I technically do own it, but I loaned it out to somebody and I never got it back. Curse him, a book owner. But yeah, Michael Vey. The Michael Vey series is my number 10, and again, it's just a really good series about a bunch of kids who have different electrical abilities, and then not only that, but they do have party members that are just normal people. Just normal people. I think there's 2 of them, 2 or 3 of them that are just normal, and no, I'm not gonna. Nope, that's too spoilery because it doesn't happen until a couple books in. But it's just a really good book series. They're not the longest books in the world, as you can see. They're about almost a little over 300 books each. 300 books each, yeah. 300 pages each. Yeah, this one just barely goes over 300 as well. It's actually shorter than the first book. What about the final book? The final book, yeah, it's just barely long. It's just barely longer than the first book. So yeah, they're all roughly a little over 300 pages. That's light to me, not gonna lie. But yeah, it's just a really good series. And like I said, I was having difficulties on choosing what I wanted at number 10. And I guess the ones I will tell you, honorable mentions. I'll just grab this one right here because I mean it's in reach, so I'll just grab it. As an honorable mention, there's Eon. I really love this book. It took me a long time to read it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it was. There was just something about this book that made me read it so slow and methodical, but I just loved the whole premise of it. It's a female protagonist, female strong protagonist, and it surrounds like Chinese mythology and all that, you know. It's just really fascinating, amazing. I do own the sequel. There's a sequel to it. It's right here. Iona. I have yet to read it yet, though. And as you can see, I think the reason why is because it's a lengthy book. This one's 600 pages. Oh, what was this one? Now that I'm curious. Oh, nope, this one's a little over 500. So yeah, the sequel got some pages on it. This is my Franz Kafka book story. I'm not gonna put that in there because it's just a collection of short stories. This is a book series. All of his books aren't series; they're just one-offs and short stories. But yeah, Michael Bay at number 10. Eon was close to getting there. Other Percy Jackson series or Riordan series like Magnus Chase, Kane Chronicles, The Apollo Trials. Pretty sure that's all of them. I don't see any more. And the other big one was I Am Number 4. I really love that series. It kind of fizzled out midway. Like, I'm still on the 4th book. I read the 3rd book and I loved it and it was my favorite in the series. But I'm pretty sure I'm still on the one that has 7 in the title. It's behind my 5th Wave series. Or, well, 2 of the 5th Wave books. And then Assassin's Creed book. But yeah, Michael Bay, number 10. I just really enjoyed it. They're short books for me. I'm pretty sure the chapters are relatively short for chapter sakes. Or for a chapter standard. It's kind of like, if you read The Maze Runner has like very short chapters. It's kind of like that. But it's not as... It's obviously longer than The Maze Runner. The Maze Runner is only 3 books and a prelude. This one's 7 books. It's very young adulty. I'm just gonna say it. It's a very much a young adult book series. I just really enjoy it. And if you're into like kind of superpower stories, then I definitely give Michael Bay a read. Obviously start with The Prisoner of Cell 25. It's the first book in the series. When did this come out? I'm curious. When did this... 2011. This book series started in 2011. Wow. I was like a freshman. Okay, so now we're going to get into number 9. This is one of the big hitters, I guess you could say. Even though it's only number 9. It's the Divergent series. Now, I just grabbed one book out of the series, by the way. I'm not showing you all the books in the series. Obviously, this is Insurgent book of the Divergent series. The second one. I got this one because one is the fanciest one I have. It's the collector's edition. It's got this fancy little thing here. And I got this for Christmas from Alicia. And I remember it took me like one whole semester to read this just because I took my time reading it. And it probably... I think overall, I might have liked this book better than Divergent, but I liked the opening of Divergent. I think the opening moments of Divergent, where they're all in the contest and everything, is probably my favorite moment in the whole book series. But there are 3 books in the series: Divergent, Insurgent, Elegant. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, Elegant. And then there's the spin-off. There's that spin-off book of 4. You know, the 1, 2. I just really like this book series. Obviously, I'm gonna love them all. I like Triss as a character. 4 is amazing. I'm like trying to. I remember there was one character, Will. I remember I loved Will. Will was like my favorite character. So bad. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I actually do own the first 2 movies. I own Divergent and Insurgent, and I'm going to get Elegant eventually, sometime. I know a lot of people didn't like it. Then again, I like to have a positive outlook on these like book to movie adaptations. Like a lot of people hate the Percy Jackson movies, and I love them. But then again, I look at it as in, I look at the movie as a whole. I separate the movie from those book series it comes from, and I'll just look at the movie as a whole. And if I like the movie, like taking it away from the books, if I separate the book from the movie, and I like the movie in general, then I'm just gonna like the movie. And that's what I did with Divergent. I loved Divergent. Insurgent wasn't as good as Divergent movie, but I still enjoyed them both. I enjoyed both of the Percy Jackson movies. I enjoyed the hell of the I Am Number 4 movie. The I Am Number 4 movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not lying. Okay, number 7. This is number 8, actually. That was number 9. It's a trilogy by Sarah Ashes. The Lord of Snow and Shadows, The Tower of Imprisonment, right? Pretty sure that's what it was. The Tower of Imprisonment. I don't even know if it shows you this. This one's for Tom, apparently. It might. And then there's The Tower. I don't remember the book titles. It's been a really long time. But I love Gavril. I love his whole character. Yeah, it's Prisoner of the Iron Tower and Child of the Serpent Gate. Second one, third one. Just so you know how to read them in order. This is the first one. I like this cover the best, which is why I chose it to represent this series. As in, I'm showing. Gotta avoid the lamp, man. That lamp. But yeah, I really enjoy this book series. They're long. They may not look it like this. May look like 300-400 pages, but they're 600. They're all like 600 roughly. And I just enjoy. It's very political. It has like two tones. You got the Gavril sections. When I first read the series, I almost skipped the Eugene sections. I didn't skip them. I skimmed them. I skimmed them very fast. And I read the Gavril sections very intently because I was so intrigued by his character and his story that I just couldn't get enough of his side. But every time I went to Eugene, Altitia, I'm pretty sure is her name, and Eugene's daughter, and all those sections was very political, very slow, drawn out sections, and I just wasn't as intrigued with them, so I didn't read them as much. But I did read them on my second playthrough. My second read of them. And they're not that bad, but it's still a lot slower paced than the Gavril sections. So it's kind of come see, come swah. It's like a roller coaster. You got the Gavril sections, which are very good, and Eugene, which is a very slower, political, more take on the story, which is necessary because Eugene's gonna be there for the whole series. So yeah, there's that. But overall, I still love it to death. And honestly, my mom couldn't get into the series, but I just can't get enough of Gavril. I just love him. And now we get to number 7, which is The Maze Runner. Okay. Again, this is also a trilogy. You got The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trials, and The Death Cure. Death Cure movie coming out in January, by the way. So psyched for it. And of course, I own both the Maze Runner movie and the Scorched Trials movies because they're both great. Honestly, as far as book to movie adaptations go, I think they do better than most. Not Hunger Games level or Harry Potter level of like popularity, but it's definitely higher than Percy Jackson and Divergent in terms of its popularity. But I just really love the movies. I think I definitely enjoyed them more than the Percy Jackson and the Divergent series. I think it's on par with the I Am Number 4 with me. But the Maze Runner series, again, like I said, they're shorter than most. They're like in the 300 to 400 range, which is light for me. Like not too light, but it's 300 pages is like light for me. This one's like 360 something pages. Again, like I mentioned before, they're short chapters. They're like 3 to 10 page chapters, and sometimes I'm used to like books with 20 to 30 page chapters or whatever. Somewhere around there. They're almost always around 20 pages. And this one, it's very rare that a chapter does go over 10 pages, which is, it was weird for me, but it what I felt like when I was reading the books is that, to me, it felt like it was going by faster. The book went by faster because the chapters were so short. That's once you get done with a chapter, it doesn't feel like a nuisance to go into the next one and finish the actual chapter. It's a succession of short chapters, which makes the book fly by like that, especially if you're really into reading. And the Maze Runner series is just, I love it. It throws you a swerve, giving him a love interest, and then a rift happens, and then he attaches to another love interest. That was interesting, because I don't know. Like, a part of me always wanted him to be with Tessa, and I just knew he couldn't. Alright, now we're getting on to 6, which is another heavy hitter, and some of you are probably going to be like, what the hell are you doing putting this at 6? It's The Hunger Games. Now, I remember getting The Hunger Games, obviously. I have all of them in hardback. I got them all as they came out. Me and my mom read them. And it's The Hunger Games. Again, the movies are phenomenal. They're all great. But it's The Hunger Games. There's not much more to say than it's The Hunger Games. Came out in 2008, and I remember reading this before it got like really mainstream and became the phenomenon movie series it is now today. And the whole, like, putting a bunch of teams in an arena and having them fight to the death concept was really fascinating. The fact that the first part of the story is them getting in the reaping and then getting ready and being flaunted out to the public before being thrown into this TV deathmatch thing. It's like two halves. You got the slow beginning, which is still interesting in the world that it's built in, and then you've got the second half, which is the arena, which is amazing and gripping. And I feel like this book did that better than Catching Fire, because Catching Fire, to me, the beginning was so slow, and I just couldn't wait to get through it. It was dragging for me. But then once you got into the arena, it got a lot better. And then Mockingjay didn't have that issue because there's no arena fighting, obviously. It's just much better than Catching Fire. But yeah, Catching Fire had like a slow start for me, and then once they got into the arena, it just clicked. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the 5th one, and I don't know how popular the series is, but I really love the series, and I'm currently reading it, or reading a book from it. I have finished the complete series though, and that is the Virals series. This is Seizure. I'm using this one because it's my favorite book in the series. It's the second one. You got Virals, Coded, Seizure, Exposure, then Terminal. Those are the books in order. And then you've got Trace Evidence, which is a series of short stories. 4 of them, to be correct. If I am correct, I gotta... Yeah, Shock, Shift, Swipe, Spike. Those are the names of the short stories. I'm currently in the middle of the second one, and I just love this series. It's about a bunch of kids. 4 kids to be exact. A chunky nerd, scrawny African-American nerd, a tough, handy guy, I guess you could say, the more athletic, stoic one of the group, and then of course you have the main character, Tori Brennan. If you ever watched Bones, that's her aunt, Temperance. Yeah. And so she's like the leader of the pack and everything, and they all get like this viral infection. And so their senses are enhanced. Like Tori, all their senses are enhanced, but each one gets a specific sense enhanced. Like Tori's got her sense of smell enhanced to a higher degree than the others. Hiram's eyes are better. Shelton's ears are better, and Ben got the better end of the physical attributes, obviously. But honestly, it's a very sciencey book. Like, they're all very freaking smart in science and stuff like that. And Virals is about them figuring out everything and figuring out how they got these powers, this gift. and how it works and how the project came about. The second one's kind of like Goonies-esque, and it's like a treasure hunt and everything. I just love that. Coded was like they had to crack a code, and I remember, I don't know, it's just a bunch, like the title of the books, except for Seizure. Seizure's kind of, you couldn't tell that was kind of like a Goonies-esque pirate treasure hunt just by the title. By the way, I just really love this series, and honestly, I can't get enough of it. Like, in my top 5, honestly, on any given day, a lot of them could interchange because I just love them so much. And the Viral series is one of my favorites, and I'm just never gonna let it leave my side. And the fourth and third, I had a hard time choosing which would actually fourth, third, and second, I had a hard time choosing their places, but I ultimately decided on this. And at number 4, it is Pendragon. Now, Pendragon is a book of 10. There are 10 books, and on the back you can see 9 of them. You know, and I remember I have the first 3. I rented the 4th and the 5th one from the library at high school, and all the rest of them, no, I just got the 4th one from the high school. I was gonna get the 5th one, but they never had it. It was never in. So I ended up going to the public town library, like sometime after graduation. I caught up on the rest of the series, and I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, honestly, because I've had these books forever, like since 8th, 9th grade. These first 3 books, and I don't know why I didn't seek them sooner. I just love this book series so much. It's the characters are so amazing. Bobby Pendragon's great in his own right, and then his uncle is amazing for the time you get to know him. The villain, Saint Dane, he's one of the greatest villains I've ever had the pleasure of reading and hating in a book series I've ever read. He's better than Lord Voldemort, who we'll get to. But the Travelers thing, where you're traveling to different worlds, trying to keep peace, but all the while trying to keep the customs and not trying to look out of place, and the different worlds that they go to, is amazing and phenomenal. And honestly, I think my favorite book, it's really hard to say, but I really like Quillian's Game. I love the Quillian's Game. And the 9th book, Raven's Rise. Yeah, I really like Quillian's Games, Raven Rise, and the Rivers of Zida? No, Zimbwa. I don't know anymore. It's really hard to tell. Either way, that one, the 6th book, it's like a close third behind Raven's Rise, or 4th. The last book's pretty great too. But those books in the Pendragon series is amazing, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. You basically get to see Bobby age, because he starts off as like this 13, 14-year-old, and he's basically aging as the book series goes on, because by the book series ends, he's like in his 20s. So you get to read Bobby growing up, aging, going through the universe, saving the day, internal struggles of trying to combat with Saint Dane, who's basically almost a god. And he almost seems unbeatable up until the very end of the book series. And it's amazing, and I can't have enough praise for it. And the reason why it's so hard with these 3 spots and judging is because number 3, I decided to put Harry Potter. And it ranks this high almost because of nostalgia and the fact that the books are just great and phenomenal in their own right. I mean, I chose this one because it's the first book I saw, and it's got a nice cover. It's definitely not my favorite book. I think that would have to be Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire. My tongue's wanting to say Prisoner of Azkaban. Definitely Goblet of Fire. And it's Harry Potter. What is there more to say? It's amazing. The movies are great. I own them all. I even own Fantastic Beasts. Ah, she's great. And number 2 is The Chronicles of Nick. Yeah. I mean, this is Illusion. This is the 5th book in the series. They have 7. The 8th one's coming on its way. If not, I think it's already out. I think it just dropped. But Affinity, Invincible, Infamous, Inferno, Illusion, Instinct, Invisible. No, it's Envision. Yeah, it's Envision. Not Invisible. It's Envision. Envision is book 6. But yeah, I love Nick and his sarcasm and his witty banter and just everything about him. It's by Sherilyn Kenyon. If you've read her Dark Hunter series, then you're already somewhat familiar with Nick because he's Ambrosia. Because his name is Nick Ambrosia Gaucher. If I'm pronouncing that right. And he's a Malachi, which is a demon. And his dad was the Malachi, and so therefore now he's the Malachi. And there can only be one Malachi. So the dad has to kill the son in order to sustain being the Malachi, or give up his life and let his son take over. And honestly, it's just a great book series, and it's full of all the drama, the great twists, and it's just every time I read this book series, every time I pick up a book, no matter how long it takes me to pick the book up, just because of how busy I am, distracted I am, like writing, playing video games, or just being distracted with wrestling, work, life, and I'm just not picking up a book. But whenever I do pick up one of these books, I can't put it down. I just read it till the very end. And honestly, I highly recommend these books. Any of these books in my series, especially the top 5, The Virals, Pendragon, Harry Potter, if you already haven't, Chronicles of Nick. Number 1, if you know me, then this shouldn't be a shock at all. Like, if you know me and you didn't see this coming, I'm kind of ashamed of you. Because number 1, you probably already saw it. Number 1 is the Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson and the Olympians and Heroes of Olympus. I am cheating here, and I'm combining the 2 together. I know they're 2 separate series, books of 5. But I'm combining them both because I can't separate them. Percy Jackson was the book series that really got me into reading. A series of fortunate events opened the doors for me to be intrigued by reading, but Percy Jackson basically opened the floodgates and opened my heart to read. I remember the first book I actually read was a ghost book. Honestly, I can normally think of the title, but I'm being recorded and it's poofed from my memory. So that's awkward. If I remember it, I'll say it. I know it was a ghost story and the boy had to go back in time and switch places with the other boy, who they looked just like conveniently. Because the boy who was sick back in time wouldn't live with their medicine, so they switched places so he could be treated in the normal world where the medicine was advanced enough to heal him. And so the other Nick, I don't even know if that's their name, but the other one stayed in his time while he was recuperating in the real world. And I remember there being a theme surrounding a Marvel game. But enough of that. We're gonna talk about this. Okay, so this is 10 books. 5 books for each series. You got The Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, Titan's Curse, Battle of the Labyrinth, The Last Olympian. I don't know why I'm looking there. I see the books, but I can't read anything because of the glare. But yeah, those are this is the Percy Jackson Olympian series, then The Lost Hero, Son of Neptune, The Mark of Athena, which is one of my favorite books. The House of Hades, which is my favorite book, if you couldn't tell by the fact that I put it up here in this story that I am showing you. And The Bloods of Olympus, which is okay. It cannot top Mark of Athena and The House of Hades, which to me are literally the two strongest books out of all 10. I know that's some heavy stuff right there, but I just love all the characters. Percy Jackson is one of my favorite book characters of all time. I love Annabeth. Grover's amazing. Leo Valdez is so great. I like Hazel. She's pretty cool. Nico Delangelo is awesome. I don't care for Frank. Piper's alright. And Jason's your stereotypical soldier boy, who I also, again, don't necessarily care too much for. But he's okay. He gets better as the series goes. Whereas Frank, I just don't care for at all through the whole entire series. I'm sorry, Frank, but I just don't care for you. The series is great. It's full of fantastic moments. Again, if you haven't read it, don't know what is wrong with you, but I highly recommend it. Out of all the books, this is the one I highly recommend the most. If you already haven't read it, if you have read it, then it goes to Virals. Not gonna lie. Virals or Pendragon. Because I feel like Chronicles of Nyx more popular. And then Virals and Pendragon combined. So I'd say Virals or Pendragon would go after Percy Jackson. Even though that's insanely popular and a lot of people have already read it. But I just love it so much. Oh my gosh, ow, that hurt. And with that, enough of that. These are my top 10 book series that I own, that I love the most. And I hope you have a great day. Remember, only you can be the best you can possibly be. If you like the video, give it a like, comment, feel like you're super special, awesome. Subscribe if you haven't, to really me out. And ta-ta.